Hello, folks, and welcome to Wind, Reel, and Print. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Kevin.
And today is a very special episode where we talk about a single movie. Sometimes we talk about one movie at a time. That does happen.
Yeah.
And this movie, this time, is... I don't know how beloved it was for you when it came out. I'd be interesting to hear like your first experiences, but we're going to be talking about The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson from 2012. Basically kind of follows a sort of Scientology like cult religion and the creator of it,
Tomato.
And then and the basically a lone post-war individual, post-war man that just cannot find his way in the world, who clearly has he's going through a lot of mental things, and ends up kind of in Philip Seymour Hoffman, who plays this Lancaster Dodd character, who is the creator of this religion, ends up kind of in his good graces. And so we kind of follow this story. It spans maybe a decade or so, maybe a little less, of these people's lives. But yeah, no, very, very interesting. It's in Paul Thomas Anderson's filmography. It came after There Will Be Blood, so it was back to back, and I like There Will Be Blood was what blew my mind open, and so I was really looking forward to this movie when it came out. Do you remember when it came out? Did you see it in theaters or anything?
Well, a question.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed in this movie, or you liked it, or what was your reaction
when I first saw it?
Yeah, because I mean, There Will Be Blood is so good.
It was so good. This movie blew my mind.
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Okay,
I loved it so much.
Okay.
It was immediate for me. I knew I think like of all the Paul Thomas Anderson movies, and now we've had a few more. I think this exists in this. It has the same energy as There Will Be Blood, and even as One Battle After Another. I think that there are like similar characters and themes that play into these three films.
Yeah.
And really are like about masculinity in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And just have all of these interesting tinges of stuff, and of anger and fury. And so it to me, and I was already like Paul Thomas Anderson, like even after There Will Be Blood, I had seen all of the other films he had made up to that point, besides Heart 8, which I had not watched until recently for the first time. And I really liked it. But so I had been a big fan, but yeah, when I saw it, I was like, I remember seeing it in Flagstaff, Arizona, where I went to college. And I think I saw it with a friend of mine.
You were in college when this came out?
Yeah. 2012. So yep.
I
was,
20.
Yep. Yes, I was 20.
Nice.
Yes. And so I'd been in college a couple of years. I was definitely in the film program by this point, but I smoked cigarettes for probably a couple months, like around that time. And so I smoked a cig after this movie too, in the forest. Cause in this part of Arizona, it's like the high elevation, it snows there. It's like pine forests.
Wow.
And I was just like contemplating it. Oh my God. It just it opened my mind. It was awesome.
Yeah. So what you viscerally remember?
And the final line, I remember like just the way it ends is like, that's how I love movies to end too. It's kind of like on this like funky note.
Yeah.
Where it just makes you really think about it. I prefer movies that aren't like perfectly wrapped up.
Yeah.
Like There Will Be Blood is a perfect way. Like it has that too, of just like that one line of like, all right, I'm done in here, or whatever, after he kills Paul Dano's character and he's calling for his butler to come back.
Right.
It's that same style of line, like put it back in at the end. And it's just kind of like, what the, like it kind of says so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just remember taking that final line as well with me and just being like, wow. Yeah, it just of all like modern filmmakers, like he was the one that spoke to me
Sure.
the most,
Yeah.
for the longest time. And now I have a new guy, even though I love PT, but I got a new
Mm.
guy. I
Yorgo?
got a new guy. Yeah, Yorgos.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he there's a language I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely with the weird stuff, you know. Yeah.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, freaky deaky.
Yeah, I get it, freaky.
That's me.
I mean, PTA, I think pretty almost I mean, I don't know. I guess some of it is a little overblown hype, but I think he is definitely one of the more celebrated like American directors of our time.
I think so.
Um
I think yeah, I think
Within that
there's
generation.
definitely been a lot of conversation. Like I remember back like I mean up through The Master, like I mean talk about a run of movies
Yeah.
that were just
Bangers.
unbelievable. Like it felt like, and then like I've seen a few since that have been like, like Licorice Pizza. Like
Yeah.
I know Phantom Thread is a lot better than I give it credit for, so I got to go back and watch it. That's supposedly pretty good, but it didn't
Yeah.
hit. And then Inherent Vice, I I was kind of iffy on, and that
Sure.
would come out while I was in college as well.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I just yeah that run was wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be blood in the master back to back to be film broy. So that's a
Oh, talk
wild, yeah.
yeah, and it's just such great like commentary on America,
Mm-hmm.
and especially male America.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, there's just something so good about it.
Yeah,
um yeah,
and they're
yeah,
both during very like transformative periods of America, I would say too, of like
yep,
different industries and like the impacts of sort of the colonial power of America or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean it's America pre-war and post-war,
yeah,
like turn of the century, and then where things go afterwards,
right,
and the kind of aimlessness that kind of happens after World War II, I imagine, for a lot of people.
right.
And we're still living with that
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like, what is America? Like, we did something so fucking cool in World War II.
Back to
Like,
back
it's like,
champs.
yeah, back to back chance. I mean, it's the last like just war
Yeah,
we did.
yeah,
And we're still like, we still try to run it back.
yeah,
Like that's America's last like great
yeah.
feat.
True.
um and so to come off of that, I've always like imagined like what the 50s must have been like, because obviously everyone's like, oh, it was so good, yeah, yeah, and you got to like wonder like what made it so good for a lot of people, for some people.
Yeah.
um it's yeah, it's just very interesting.
I mean,
um
I mean that's like when the suburban influx happens. Like there's just more money. Like businesses were kind of booming.
businesses were booming, people could buy homes, which then
Yeah.
became an asset,
Yeah.
so they immediately had some money now.
Yeah.
um and so it's interesting, like all those, just those two things, our lead character played by Joaquin Phoenix has neither of those. Not only does he
Mm.
not have a good job, he can't hold down a job because of his
But he can hold
uh
down that liquor, baby.
he can't hold down that liquor, and he is a mad boy.
Yeah.
he is he has serious anger problems. And
Oh.
yeah, and you eventually see that even Philip Seymour Hoffman's character has those inclinations as well,
Right,
is
right.
also kind of drawn, I mean, and is
Drawn
drawn
to
to this
him.
energy,
Yeah.
that Joaquin Phoenix, who ends up on the boat as before it goes off on like a through the Panama Canal to the other side, like a cross country trip.
Yeah.
um
On accident, right?
yeah, just on accident, and then he ends up in like the perfect situation, and it's
Yeah.
almost like, yeah, and there's so much interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. This to me bends to the theme of like control and power
Mm,
of like you say like, oh, this is the perfect situation for him. It's like, yeah, it's weird because like they're trying to like fix him and they're trying to like use their theory to like get to this guy, but he's also at the same time impenetrable and like really fucked up and does not give a shit about all these things and it
yeah,
thinks of it as a game and is like likes doing it for the fun of it, but sees no like result or outcome on the other side. Like, so it's like a never ending like cycle of like needing to be fixed, but also being unfixable.
Yeah.
And like obviously there's tension within that relationship, but like it's interesting how they get caught up in each other. Like they
Yeah.
kind of need each other, you know, in a weird
E-
way.
exactly. And so what's really interesting is like his character is like going through the motions
Yeah.
of all of these things, and there is a it does seem to break through sometimes.
Hmm.
Like he does seem to have like this final like resting moment. Those are the only times we see it, is like when he's like like these breakthroughs, when he's like crying, or like there are like these moments of breakthrough, but by the end, and even at the end, you kind of feel like there's this calmness to him when
Yeah.
he ends up in England, to see them again. But even they know
It's
that
not
he's not
real.
there for the right
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah,
Like they can
exactly.
even tell.
I
um
mean, she calls it out like
she
instantly.
calls it out. She's so, oh my god, Amy Adams is so good in this. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And just that scene is so good, and so similar to There Will Be Blood's final scene, or like semi-final
Mm,
scene of like when the son ends up coming back to see his father,
yeah.
in that in also a similar kind of study,
Right. At the
this
desk.
time much more grandiose and large,
Right.
um and he's sitting once
Mm,
also behind the desk, and uh there's this conversation that is just happening between uh Amy Adams' character and Joaquin Phoenix, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's just kind of sitting there,
yeah.
just letting it happen, and it's just like this just tear down, takedown
Yeah.
of Joaquin Phoenix's character by the end, that I think is so good. And what I loved as well is like he doesn't fight back either. Like
Yeah.
where his anger comes out, and I think that's a really interesting thing to explore too, is where that anger like actually ends up going to, because you easily could have seen him like blow up right there,
Right.
because she's just insulting him to the nth degree, but he's almost like so broken that he doesn't, like, he's willing to take the lashes,
Right.
um to be there in the room. So yeah, it was just kind of interesting. I was surprised at the fact that there's no hostility at all. He disagrees with her,
Mm.
but doesn't like lash out in any way.
So did it work?
I don't know.
I
Like, I
mean,
think about it.
yeah. I mean, I think that's a great, like, interesting point you bring up of like
Yeah.
his reaction, because there is like a weird relationship between these two characters, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, of like
Yeah.
they're almost like lovers, and like there
That's how I would just, yeah.
it
Yeah.
feels like a infidelity sort of moment in the scene that you're talking about, of like her calling him out, but like
Mm, mm,
Joaquin Phoenix misses him and wants to be around him and is willing to take the beratement and all these things
yeah.
just to be near him. And Philip
Yeah.
Seymour Hoffman, I feel like, doesn't believe anything that she's saying, but like
Yeah.
but they've had this conversation for so many years that like he just has to accept it, and
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
lets
She's a very
her.
important part of
Yeah,
his story, and
and the
we
world
don't,
that they've built and everything. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, because we don't really know if he doesn't believe what he's saying, because I think he does, because I think it's something else, because I mentioned, maybe I said it in my letterbox review, so I mentioned it,
Sure,
but
it's
I
mentioned
like,
somewhere.
yeah, somewhere, like this film is about desire, and
Yeah.
in all of its forms, and I think one of
Oh,
I think
sorry,
one of
sorry.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's desires is this creative pursuit, and maybe like I'm very interested to also pick your brain as a creative individual that's like looking for like that story, or and following those things. Like he's so desperate
Hmm.
to like to square the circle with this idea,
Who are we
and
talking about? Phil?
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Okay, okay.
like to get to that second book, because that ends up kind of being a big part of the movie, is like he's trying to write the second book in this kind of story of
The
where
cause.
humanity came from, like basically the religion book. What is book two of this religion?
Mm.
It's called the Twin Saber, because the first one's called the Cause. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
called the
yeah.
Cause. um and then the second one's Twin Saber. But there's just like this, you can tell, like, and he's, as soon as he comes into contact with Joaquin Phoenix, like there's this light bulb moment of like, this is it.
Yeah,
Like
you're the bug.
I can finally figure it out. Um,
Mm,
and so like,
amuse.
yeah. That's a lot of what Joaquin Phoenix's character is to him.
Sure, sure.
Is this muse, is this like pet animal
Yeah,
that he walks around, almost like a pet monkey, that you take to do tricks and stuff like that. There's some of that, but it really isn't sinister.
right.
Like it doesn't feel sinister in
Like
any
he
way to
loves
me.
him.
He does. He
Yeah,
really, really loves him.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, no, there's just like this such a deep connection between the two of them that is so hard to explain. It never drifts into the sexual or anything like
Hmm,
that.
hmm, hmm.
It's purely like, I don't want to say platonic, but it's just it's above, it's on a different wavelength, I guess.
I mean, I
Which,
think the way you're describing it as like an artist and a muse, I think that's
yeah,
a perfect kind of description of like their relationship. Like
yeah,
Philip Seymour Hoffman has a more kind of controlled relationship with him, and like is experimenting and like prodding in the
yeah,
way that like an artist is like manipulating or whatever.
yeah.
And or Joaquin Phoenix is very like unbridled like energy, just like wild and all over.
I mean, yeah,
um
like that performance is just insane.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
so incredible. Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, you
No,
have.
no, no, go for it, go for it. I've been talking.
Yeah, 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 I just you bring up desire.
Yeah.
And so that's, I'm choosing that as my pinpoint. So it's funny, I read my review from like 7 months ago of
Hmm.
this movie, and I
Hmm.
had written this like kind of crazy thing. But I was reading this book at the time. This book is called uh, Out of Time, Atemporal Cinema.
Oh yes, that is a Kevin book if I've ever heard of it.
Out of Time, Desire in
Oh,
Atemporal Cinema.
nice.
Um, so this guy, Todd McGowan, he writes about like broadly speaking atemporal cinema, and this kind of like unspoken movement during the 90s and 2000s of like all these movies that break temporal structure and like the
Mm,
linearity of time. Pulp Fiction, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, for example.
hmm.
um and so I think he talks about 2046 in here as well, which
Oh sure,
Ryan and I have watched.
yes.
um
Little Women 2019, I think,
yeah,
is another
another
one
great
that
example. Yeah,
is it 2019? Yeah,
yeah, 2019.
yeah.
Yeah. And so one of his kind of theories is that this idea of desire versus drive. And so
Mm,
desire is a short term goal. And it's never meant to like it's never meant to kind of result in satisfaction. So you're never going to get what you desire, right?
mm,
um and in contrast, drive is a more long-term goal
mm,
that depends on the idea of repetition and
mm,
confronting the actual need behind the desire,
mm,
um with the result of failure every single time. So
mm,
the drive allows you to confront trauma or your fear, without like needing to satisfy your like kind of like earthly desire, if that makes
mm,
sense. And so I bring that up because you obviously say this movie is about desire.
mm,
So that's very clear within the structure of like the characters and like what they're going through within the movie. But I would also emphasize like the the use of repetition within this movie
oh
and
yeah.
its atemporal structure, to fit it within Todd McGowan's theories. So my starting point specifically is the kind of one of those first scenes where they're drinking that potion together, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, yeah, I just came up with some great theories, and Joaquin Phoenix like, well, try them out on me, and then they try it, and
Yeah.
a lot of that is built on repeating the same phrases, bringing up
Hmm.
old memories. Like that is literally what this guy is kind of talking about, is like
Yeah.
bringing up these things, repeating it, like actually repeating it, but also like the act of remembering as like a memory repetition sort of deal.
Yeah.
And then after that scene, it's like a flashback to him with that girl. You know, it's like the structure of the movie and like the scenes themselves and the characters are like playing with ideas of repetition
Yeah.
and like drive and desire and like memory and all these things, with
Hmm.
the idea of trauma. um what does this mean? I don't know, but I think it's interesting, like what this movie is doing, fitting
Yeah.
within his theories of like how we deal with trauma from like a psychological standpoint, and like w- how we can use like these theories, from a cinematic understanding to apply them to like our own kind of psyche and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
And when was that book written?
um let me look. Pretty recently, 2011.
Oh, 2011. Okay, so it was
Yeah.
just before this movie came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it feels like it's
Mm.
so it's such an interesting thing because in some ways, like when I hear atemporal, I don't necessarily think of this movie because this movie does have a linear, for the most part. It's always moving. There's no the flashbacks are kind of like hypnosis induced,
Sure.
and they kind of where like when I think of atemporal, I think of like kind of jumping around, like which
Sure.
I love. But you start to realize that atemporal, like it's it doesn't just have to be the narrative as a whole; it's how you tell it. And if
Right.
you're telling it with flashbacks, that is atemporal,
Like
just because
inherently.
that
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, inherently, like that is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I also needed to broaden my understanding and
Right.
definition of atemporal to include this.
Right. And
Um,
even the idea of like time jumps, like this movie goes from like
true,
moment to
true,
moment to moment. It's never
true,
like, oh, cause and effect, cause and effect. It's like
true. Is
capturing
that
like,
atemporal?
to me that's like a broadly speaking like atemporal kind of
Hmm.
structure of like, we're not going to follow three act like clearly cause and effect character moves along this line. It's more
Hmm.
like, here's a little section of this character, here's a section,
Yeah,
kind of a deal.
yeah.
I mean, obviously atemporal has varied like expressions and can be like so many different things, but I definitely like this approach. Like PTA has this sort of atemporal approach, to most of his movies, I feel
To
like.
ever, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess like he has a few movies that feel very condensed down,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
like so many of his movies are Magnolia, Boogie Nights, obviously There Will Be Blood,
Right.
The Master. I think you could even say in some ways, oh yeah, I mean definitely One Battle After
Yeah.
Another.
I mean, it's so,
Um,
yeah,
oh, it's
clearly.
exactly, it's so all over the place, and there's just like there's a clear prologue
Yeah. True.
to
Yeah.
like the real story
Right. Right. Right.
that's going on, which is a I mean it's just a great storytelling technique.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, Paul Thomas Anderson loves his time jumps.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's a tool within filmmaking, right? Is like,
yeah,
you're not tied to like the confines of reality. Like you can kind of break it in a lot of ways.
yeah.
Obviously with editing, yeah.
What's your big takeaway from this film? Like, how does it make you feel? You know,
Mm.
like where is it? I know you rated it quite high on Letterbox, but do you?
Yeah.
What's the Kevin perspective on this? I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, to me it's like what I like about PTA is like his cohesion of elements.
Yeah,
Like everything just feels like, oh yeah, son. Everything just feels like they fit in together really well.
yeah,
Um, I definitely like the theory behind all these things, like just from that simple explanation of like atemporality and everything. And I feel like out of I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but out of the ones I've seen, like The Master to me feels the most like free, and like poetic, I guess. And
yeah.
like his imagery is just so strong in this movie. I love There Will Be Blood, and I think it's a classic, but I don't know, The Master to me just feels so like more like personal and more like grounded. Like I like set pieces and I like period pieces, like in There Will Be Blood. But there's something about The Master that just feels like
Oh,
tangible to me, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, on these new on this most recent watch, and it had been a while since I'd seen it. Like I just fell in love with it so much. It might
Yeah.
be my favorite PTA film at the moment.
For
It's just
sure.
like it speaks to so many of the new things I've learned about movies since doing this podcast. I've seen so many that I've just been like, wow, kind of like open my mind, and I'm starting to understand like what is it that really hits me in my core.
Yeah.
And it's just like this movie has that deep compassion
Yeah.
and desire, and that I'm inherently drawn to. Um, Not only that, it is beautiful looking. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like astounding how beautiful it looks, and the kind of usage of music. And I
Yeah.
even
Johnny
from when it
Greenwood.
was released, yeah, when it was released, it was like considered dreamlike. Like this movie is
Mm.
very dreamlike.
Yeah.
There is something where you kind of question a little bit about what's happening, with the repetition, the hypnosis, the all of these things that are
Mm.
just kind of like happening. It's hard to tell. And not only all of these things, but then you have like performances that are like out of this world, like
The
that just
cast.
don't. It's like, how do you how it's just amazing that these things were captured. And I mean,
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood has some, I mean, like Daniel Day-Lewis in that is
Amazing.
crazy. I mean, it's just like back to back
Yeah.
insanity.
Paul Dano
Um,
though, up in
yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah, no, we're Paul Dano deserves all the flowers. We're recording this pretty soon after Quentin Tarantino went balls to the wall for some stupid reason.
Uh,
Like
I think
obviously said no to a job or something like that,
yeah,
right? Is that
yeah.
the prevailing idea? Yeah.
Well, I have a theory of like
Yeah. You want to drop
I
it?
mean
What's your theory?
I mean just what you said, right? Of like
Yeah.
cuz to me the way I see Quentin Tarantino operating in the industry, he's like a baby. He's like a little baby. If he doesn't
He
get what he
is.
wants, he's going to talk shit about you
Yeah.
and like not. So cuz I've seen an interview where he's talking about I think Robert Altman. He's talking about some director
Hmm.
very early in
Quentin Tarantino talking about Robert Altman would be very interesting. I'd be very interested to hear what he thinks about him.
yeah, okay, so very early in his career, he speaks very highly of Robert Altman.
Okay.
And then at some point, okay, actually, I don't know if it's actually Robert Altman, but
Okay.
some
Okay. But it's some director.
some
Some director.
director that's
Sure.
big says things nice about him, and then the director that he was talking about starts talking shit about his movies, like they're not that good, blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. And then the next interview, Quentin Tarantino's like talking shit about this director, like, oh, his movies aren't that great. He was like, what up, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So he had, to me, he has like this thing of like, oh, if
He's a baby.
you, yeah, if you don't like me, then I'm not gonna like you or whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, oh, this big tirade where he's talking shit about like Owen Wilson and some other guy, Clive Owen or something. Um,
That'd be funny. Owen Wilson and Clive Owen.
I forget who it was. There was someone else where he's like, they're just
Clive
not
Owen
good.
Wilson.
Yeah, Clive
Yeah.
Owen was before and after.
Yeah.
Um, and so to me, it's like, oh, they probably said no to like one of his projects that like he really wanted them for.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Whatever it is, it's not objective. Like whatever his like critiques are. Like
Yeah,
it clearly is coming from like a personal
personal.
place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he released his like top movies of this all
yeah.
kind of came out of like he shared somewhere like his top 20 movies or
Of the
something, or
21st
maybe 10.
century. Yeah,
Yeah, of the
top
21st
20.
century.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you know, I'll give him credit, he's a freak.
yeah.
Like he
He's
definitely is a movie freak. And so
Toy
it's
Story
not what you would
3.
expect. Yeah, exactly. So I respect. I mean, it's like how I respect any of these like
Yeah,
fucking losers. You give them the flowers when it's deserved, but
yeah.
then you got to realize like
Just
just because
fucking
someone is a
bonkers.
director of movies definitely doesn't make them a good person,
Yeah, yeah,
and definitely doesn't make them someone you
yeah.
should revere in any way or or treat
He, of all the Hollywood directors, is
is a
probably
special.
the worst person, like
Yeah,
moral wise.
yeah. He's got a pretty bad moral code.
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah,
Hanging
no.
out with
So,
the wrong people.
yep, the
That's
wrong
all I'll
people.
say.
Yeah, exactly. Living in a not so good place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that
Um,
too. Yeah.
yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, what
Shout
were
out.
we? Oh yeah, just performances.
Yeah.
That were, and then yeah, watching it, I'm just like the Philip Seymour Hoffman performance is layered I mean, and shout out to Jesse Plemons also.
Yeah.
He's a younger Jesse Plemons is pretty cool. I forgot about that, and plays his son. And what do you know? Jesse Plemons is about to play the Philip Seymour Hoffman character from Hunger Games in the Hunger Games sequel. He's playing his like him as a young man. So
The
kind of
connection
interesting.
continues.
It's an easy connection for a casting director to make.
Yeah.
I will say clearly, but yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance was astounding
Yeah.
and deep, layered. Um, I think something that's really great about a lot of PTA performances is that they like characters can explode at any
Mhm.
point. So you don't really know what's going to happen next. And for a while, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character was calm and it kind of made sense, but you could tell there might have been something under the surface. And then as soon as he's kind of questioned by Laura
You
Dern,
big
it was nice
fuck.
to see. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there was that. Oh, that was the first reveal. Actually,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
the
yeah.
pig fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Where that was the first time that he was like questioned, and the guy was like, "This is just hypnosis. What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And that scene's so great too because the guy's just trying to interject, and he's kind of like
Like,
ignoring
excuse
him.
me.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
excuse me, and he's just ignoring it, and then he looks, and you can see everyone in the room kind of like looking awkwardly.
Yeah.
It's shot so
It's so
well.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Um,
cringed when I was
Oh,
watching
it's
that.
so
Yeah.
cringy. It's
Yeah.
so great. And then he just has to like give him time and he's
Yeah.
still trying to be really good, but you keep pushing him and he ends.
Yeah. It's
And
gonna
then, yeah,
blow over.
once he releases the second book and it starts to contradict a lot of the things that were said in the first one. And Laura Dern's character, who's a true believer,
Right.
um,
Can see through
comes
the
to him and is
bullshit.
like, yeah. And it comes to him and is like, hey, this doesn't really
Jive.
jive with what you said before. He just won't have it. But at
Yeah.
first he
Shuts
like
her
gives a
down.
little bit of like, oh,
Of
you'll
an
have to read the
explanation.
rest of it or whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, what about this? And he explodes. And you could tell she's like broken. And it yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like this living contradiction of a man who
Mm.
like couldn't is so desperate to find like solve this thing.
Yeah.
Um and
I mean, I think it harkens back to this idea of control, right? Like, he's
yeah,
trying to fix and essentially control Joaquin Phoenix's character, but at the
yeah,
same time, he is not able to control himself or like his own like anger and like emotions and stuff.
yeah,
So yeah, like that contradiction of like him trying to institute control and like why he's doing that, but and it being very personal, like the root of it is like kind of internalized, so he has to
yeah,
like push it out to like other people and control other people and do all these things.
yeah.
Yeah. And maybe that's like something to do with Amy Adams' character too, of like how much is she affecting him and controlling him and stuff like that,
She clearly is.
because she has
Yeah, she
like a
clear.
pull,
Yeah,
a push or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. And part of me, like,
The
her to
masturbation
me is,
scene.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was great. And
Yeah.
so, also another example of like, there is something, and maybe I'm just a fucking freak, but there is something when you layer like kind of like this psychosexual
Yeah. Yeah.
element in the films. I tend to really like that. There's something. There's something
Horny
about
and
films like
sweaty. Horny and
yeah,
sweaty.
exactly. There's something about that that just like because that also is like such a base human
Primal.
quality,
Yeah.
like it's like food in movies.
Mm,
Sex in movies has so much potential to because it's also like it causes you to commit contradictions and it
yeah.
causes you like
Mm,
it's confusing and it doesn't work in our rational brains so often. And you get that so much in this movie is just like this like sexual desire that's like the only way I can like
it's
explain it
oozing.
Exactly. It's like ooze like coming out of you like
Yeah,
globs of mush.
yeah,
It's so deep and oh my god, it I
viscous.
love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just I'm such a fan of him getting jacked off into the sink. And she's like telling him like you keep it together,
Yeah,
you know? And it's it's so good and like her
it's
character
so fucking good, and it's all
it's
in that one shot. Like the
I
way, yeah,
know
it's so fucking good.
it's so good and you just see like one half of his face in the mirror.
Yeah,
um it's so great.
the beast.
Yeah, but Amy Adams, like she's the most like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
wonder like does she believe in it, does she believe in the cause?
Mm,
Like there's some parts where she's like so she's so good at reading through people that you can kind of feel like in a way maybe like she is kind of aware of like
the bullshit.
of the bullshit a little bit. And um where like Walking Phoenix is like yeah there's just something so interesting because Walking Phoenix also like is aware of people's bullshit but in another direction. Like
Sure.
he will beat up people if
Right.
they
Speak
go
out against
against
him.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is like in Amy Adams, like they're both kind of on a similar track of like it's
Sure.
important to keep the dream alive.
Right.
They need this, they both need this desperately
Right.
to work. And I think Walking Phoenix doesn't really understand that because he's just like animalistic
Yeah.
and so base.
Yeah.
But they're both like always driving for the same thing, but
Yeah.
it starts to they contradict each other
For
in a lot
sure.
of ways of like who they want Philip
Well,
Seymour Hoffman's character to be.
it, exactly. I was going to say, like, the contradiction lies in what they both want out of the thing, right?
Yes.
Because, like,
Yes.
Joaquin is protective of him because Philip Seymour Hoffman, like, loves him and, like,
Loves him.
protects him, you know, so he's gonna go out and fight him like a white blood cell, just like kind
Yeah.
of triggered and innate, you know. It's not like he's ever thinking about it. It's just like, oh, if you say some bad shit, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, Amy Adams, like her protection, the root of her protection is more of like manipulation, and like
Yeah.
she may not believe in the cause, but she believes in the power that it has and the
Yes.
control that it can institute or whatever. And so
Yeah.
she wants to protect like the status quo of that and like keep all the mechanisms in place. And so Joaquin Phoenix's like kind of rambunctiousness and like kind of unpredictability that threatens the stability of
Yeah.
this machine, you know. And so I
Yeah.
feel like that's where they kind of butt heads, even though they both like are trying to protect the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They both love the same man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, for different reasons, and they want different things out of them.
Exactly.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman is like drifting between the two of them in some ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and inevitably,
I mean, it's
cut. Yeah.
that's drive. I feel like that's the drive and desire, right?
Yeah.
It's like he, like Joaquin Phoenix is a representation of like full blown desire, like full
Yeah.
blown gratification of desire, like
Gratification. Yep.
hedonism, etc., etc. Whereas like Amy Adams feels like the drive mechanism, like to eradicate all desire from the thing to solely focus on the goal and to keep
Yeah.
pushing forward, sort of a deal.
Yeah.
um yeah. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman had, like you said, is like has to balance or drift between these two things and like has to negotiate. He is the Daisy Faye of this like
Who's Daisy Faye? I don't know.
in The Great Gatsby.
Oh my god, yes, you just watched The Great Gatsby, so
Yeah.
I get it why it's on your mind. Daisy, yes, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
because she's drifting between like just it like desire and then like drive.
Yeah,
Like what is good for what she wants versus what's good like for in the long term.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what it always comes down to, I feel like, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, to me, you know, like maybe this is I'm just kind of throwing
Sure.
things together. PTA is David Fincher with compassion.
Ooh, oh,
Is that dirty?
that is because like there's like I wouldn't. yeah, I mean, David Fincher and Paul Thomas and PTA are so different, so
Mm,
different. Do you have like a
a reason?
well, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's Gone Girl was a conversation in the psychological thrillers, but
Sure, yeah.
I like have like a yeah, I have a hard time squaring that, which is interesting. They both are from they're both are music video guys,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
and they came from the same time, so they're of the same generation, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, very different filmic language,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
yeah,
So yeah, so I guess yeah, you kind of point to a lot of their uh origin
differences or
origin
oranges.
similarities. But
Yeah,
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 very different stylistically, right? And so I guess compassion is my fulcrum for like why they're different in
yeah,
that like to me David Fincher is like the embodiment of nihilism. You know, he's very like
mm,
cold and meticulous and like
very cold.
very pragmatic, you know,
Yeah,
and like he wants to show the scientific side of like the psychological film, you know, like why things happen from like a reason and logic standpoint.
yeah,
Seven, Zodiac, Social Network, you know, all these films are kind of like doing this kind of psychological breakdown of like a weird character or
yeah,
whatever, a
yeah,
murderer or like a social deviant, you know.
yeah,
um and then so to me Paul Thomas Anderson is in some ways hitting a similar peg of like these sorts of like off kilter characters, very like psychological based filmmaking, um centering like a singular character study in some sort of way. But to
hmm
me his films are filled with so much more compassion,
so much more.
even if it is the most vile and evil character, he's still like portraying these people as like real kind of humans. And like the films are more, they're shot on film, they're more like purists,
There's a life. Yeah,
they care more about the craft. Like David Fincher is like all digital and like very very sterile with like his filmmaking.
yeah,
um
exactly. So
um
meticulous, and his characters never like you would never have Joaquin Phoenix doing what he does in a David Fincher film,
right,
right?
because he has to
Like,
hit the mark and be here and blah blah blah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so you have a totally different director style and everything like that. Yeah,
Right.
no, yeah, yeah, there that is interesting. Like they are like I think even just the even if anything, I mean, this comparison is great because they are just like talk about just so wildly
Different.
different on like almost every
Every
level.
single level, yeah.
Um, like it is really,
From
really
like how
crazy.
they think and like
Yeah,
operate, yeah.
yeah. It'd be interesting to watch their music videos and kind of
Mm,
see like what the language is there,
yeah,
where it's most like where it's a visual language, like we like exploring what that looks like
yeah.
is interesting.
An MTV episode.
Oh, MTV, sure. Our own like rap TV or something like that
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we it's
Just
music
watch
video
music
related.
videos, yeah.
Yeah. Um
That'd be
eh,
cool.
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
VH1 like Rap H1 or
yeah.
Rap 1, I don't know. I'm just
Rap
talking on my ass.
rap radio.
Rap radio, that's it. Found it.
Ding ding ding.
Rap radio. Oh my god. That's the best you got. That's the best you got.
I don't know,
Really?
dude.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks, Kevin. I
Yeah,
always appreciate your time.
of course. Thank you.
It was yeah, it was fun. It was fun to go back. I'm happy we went back.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Folks, we can't wait to see you again. And that's a wrap.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. Wind Reel and Print is a podcast by Salad Brain Productions.
You can find us on Instagram at Wind Reel and Print Pod.
You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts.
And please, if you like the show, leave a rating and review.
We'll see you next time.